Hey, is it Rolanda?
Yes, hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you calling
Good.
from?
I'm from North Carolina,
Oh, what part?
Durham.
Oh, I was just there a month ago.
Oh,
And
okay. To the office
do what?
to visit or just to visit
Yeah, to visit. My cousin is pregnant and
Oh.
she's like didn't get to have a wedding and now she didn't get to have a baby shower because of COVID.
Oh.
So I was like, you know what? Maybe you would see me if it was just me. And so we
Okay.
yeah, Durham's really fun.
Yeah,
There's a lot of cool stuff going on down there.
it is. It really is. Yeah.
Um, and welcome, Anita. Where are you calling us from?
From Nebraska,
Nebraska. What part?
northwest or northeast, the Dodge, Nebraska.
Okay. Is that tornado country over there?
Not so much lately.
Good thing, right? I know the first time I ever went to the Midwest and went to Omaha, Nebraska. How far are you from Omaha?
Oh, a little over an hour northwest of there. Northwest of there.
I grew up in the South and I just didn't really ever know anybody from the Midwest. And I don't know what I thought. I guess I thought the Midwest was like farmers, which a lot of it is.
It is, yeah.
But when I went to Omaha, it was like this new, so clean. I don't know if it is now. It just was like this urban city.
Yeah.
And it had so much going on and it was just so metropolitan. And I remember being so struck with like, I really like the Midwest. I don't know what I thought it was, but
Yeah,
anyway, it seems like a great place to live.
it is.
I think we've got Aaron. So we've got Aaron, I don't know if you heard, we got Rolanda from Durham, North Carolina, and Anita from Nebraska. You want to tell everybody where you're calling from, Aaron?
Mm-hmm. I am from Atlanta. I live I used to live in the city, but now I live in North Canton. So, yeah. And sorry, I'm eating. So if you hear me, I put myself on mute because I'm like, it's 12. It's my time to eat some lunch.
So we'll give everybody just a few more minutes to log on. So I think we have a few more people that we're waiting on. I appreciate everybody being here on time. And then we'll get going. I guess while we wait for others, Anita and Rolanda, can you share what you're hoping to kind of get out of this session today? What can we do that would really be helpful and informative for you?
I'm hoping to learn how to try to monitor more what I'm eating and portion size. Because Thanksgiving, there's so much to choose from. And I do go off plan every single month. It's from Thanksgiving to Christmas. It's always a bad decision for me because I can always go up and have to go start all over again. So I need to learn how to really say no to the mac and cheese or just have some and just know how to control my portion sizes instead of saying not having it at all.
Okay, so moderation, right? Learning how to moderate. Does that sound good?
And how to say no.
That's the big thing for me too, is moderation.
Moderation is the name of the game. Okay. Anything else, Anita, for you?
Just I suppose maybe to help find some of those hidden calories or hidden things that you think are okay to eat and they really aren't.
Okay. Let me make a note of that. I just want to make sure we hit all the hot spots. Okay, so hidden calories. And I've got Cheryl, who's our virtual health coach, and Mariah going to join us, but they're not on yet. And so let's see, there's Mariah. Hey, Mariah, can you hear us? I'm assuming that she will hear us. Mariah is in Jacksonville, and she's also one of our web store team members. So we were hoping to have sort of a conversational tone and just really get to know you guys and interact and find out what your needs are and to share some of the wisdom that we've collectively learned over the years as we have managed our weight. So this is informal. If you have a question, please interrupt. Do not feel like you have to, sit there and listen. This isn't really like a formal classroom style session. And if you have any comments or anecdotes that you want to add, please feel free to do that, okay? If someone can check on where Cheryl is, just to make sure she has the right link, that would be ideal. But we'll go ahead and get started. So just for you to know, everybody that works at the Metabolic Web Store or is part of the Metabolic Web Store team in any capacity has a history of struggling with weight management. And I just want to put that out there to just make sure you know everybody's walking the walk here. All right. And everybody's had their journey of disordered eating or eating disorders or just managing even the process of maintenance. So I would like to just start with you guys. Where are you on your journey? Are you happy with your weight? Are you 100 pounds overweight? Are you 10 pounds from goal? Kind of tell us where you are in your journey. And I'll just open that up for whoever wants to start.
Well, I
I'll
started,
go first.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
This is Anita. I started the beginning of October. And so far I feel it's been working really well for me.
Good.
But I still feel like I need to lose another 40 pounds at least, probably. So
Okay.
I'm hoping, yeah.
And you're hoping that you can continue your weight loss during
Right.
the holidays?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And is this the same 40 pounds you've had over the past 20 years, or is this a new 40 pounds that came on 6 months ago?
Oh, I would say it's been in the last 8 to 10 years that I've been overweight. But
Okay.
the last year and a half, it kind of kept creeping up higher than I really like. So yeah.
Okay. And is that just sort of incremental weight gain just creeping up on you, or did you have any sort of life change that sort of triggered a weight gain?
I think it just kind of creeped up on me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Rolanda? Where are you with your weight?
I met goal in, I think, October. I think maybe end of September, but my birthday's in November. So then you have all the birthday lunches and dinners. And then November's a hard month for me. I lost my sister-in-law in November. My grandmother was this past Friday. My stepfather was the 13th. So mine is a lot of emotional for November. It's always emotional. I tend to eat more. So now I've gone back up 6 pounds like the last month. So my thing is, after this month, I can always go back because I did it every year. I did the same thing. So I started probably 2 years ago. It was 2016, I started gaining weight. I was 232, my most highest ever. And I joined Burn Boot Camp. I lost the weight. Then I had to have knee surgery. So then I stopped exercising. I gained the weight back. I lost 40 pounds. I gained it back. Then I started metabolic last year. And then I was going to lose 25 pounds. So I lost 25 pounds and I'm there, but then I've gained that 6 pounds back. So mine more is like emotional. It's always emotional eating for me. So after this month, I can go back down, but it's just hard maintaining.
Yeah, the dance with moderation, and Mariah, you might want to speak to this as well. Sometimes the dance with moderation and maintenance is maybe surprisingly as difficult as losing weight is, and maybe even more. Because, I can speak to the fact that I have a sugar addict personality. If I have a little bit, I want a lot. And, when I'm losing weight and on a diet, sometimes that structure and that low sugar intake actually makes me just not want it. And I don't think about it. And it's a little bit easier than when I have the whole big wide world of food choices available to me. Sometimes I can hit that threshold where it's a struggle for moderation. So Mariah, can you speak to that at all?
No, absolutely. I mean, listen, we all have our triggers, right? We all have our trigger foods. And in a perfect world, we could go through, let's say, take Thanksgiving. We could go through Thanksgiving and have one bite of everything and be satisfied, and we got to taste it all. But the nature of the beast is that's not always possible. Once that one bite goes in, it's just too easy for that second and that third to follow. And I think firstly, identifying your triggers and maybe being realistic on if you think a small little slice of your great auntie nanny's apple pie is going to be enough and satisfy and you'll be able to stop? Or is that going to just be a domino effect, you know? And then if there are foods, you know, when you really think about Thanksgiving and you think about what Thanksgiving is to you, you know, yes, it's a time for us to be with our family, but it also societally is very much centered around food. And I think being at a place that you're not completely restricting yourself and the goal's not perfection, but instead is just like Claire mentioned, is moderation, you know, having, if you know that the sweets are going to be what you want to enjoy, then you're going to have a little bit of this, but you're going to also just eat protein and veggies, you know, for your meal so that you can enjoy that. Or if it's the green bean casserole, because that's mine, it's my mother's. And I'm going to tell you, don't let the green beans fool you. There is not one healthy thing about her green bean casserole. But I know that's the one thing I want to have. So I'm going to steer clear of the stuffing and I'm going to have the mashed cauliflower instead of mashed potatoes so I can still enjoy that. But it's just kind of about that moderation and finding where you lie.
So let's talk about this then. There's two things. There's knowing your past history, which I feel like you guys are clear on, right? This is what's happened to me in the past. This is what I'm trying to avoid, right? Everybody's good with that. And I wanted to welcome Danielle. She joined us while we were kind of mid conversation. Hi, Danielle. I know your audio is off, but hello.
Hello.
Where can you tell us what your weight loss goal is for Thanksgiving? Are you wanting to maintain? Are you wanting to lose? Where are you on your journey? She may not be able to unmute.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, Danielle, that's okay. We'll kind of come back to you. So I think that if you're wanting to lose, then there's a different plan of attack walking into Thanksgiving and this Black Friday weekend than if you're wanting to maintain. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So it sounds like both of you are wanting to get through this weekend maintaining. And if you can lose, you great. Is that right? Hey, Danielle, tell us what your goals are.
To maintain during this holiday, I've come a long way and I reset my buttons with a way of eating, and I don't want to have 2 days. It seems like you're not going to gain a lot, but I wake up and it could be like 5 pounds. I mean, so I like to maintain.
Well, so I'm glad you said that. So let's just be really clear. The person, if you're like me, if you have any sort of like sugar, you know, sensitivity, that's the nicest way to say it. When I'm in the moment, I can talk myself into anything, right? I mean, I can, oh, I'll have 3 cookies tonight and tomorrow I'm going to jog 5 miles, whatever. It's a lie. I'm not going to do any of that. It's just in the moment, I'm lying to myself, right? And the reality is that over the years, and Mariah and Cheryl, I'm sure have seen this too, I have weighed people in on Monday after Thanksgiving who are up 10 pounds, 13
Right.
pounds. I mean, I've seen it happen enough to know that what you just said, Danielle, is totally real. 2 days doesn't seem like that much, but man, you can do some damage, right?
Right.
And if you're sugar sensitive like I am, once I get that chemical reaction going on in my brain with the yeast rolls and the pies and the drinks and the whatever, at some point I don't care. Does that make sense?
It does.
I don't care. And then at some point, what happens is I feel guilty and I blame myself and I even feel ashamed and I'm like, screw it. And then I really don't care.
What's
Right?
one more bite, right? Because I already did it this before, but then
I've already blown it. I already screwed up Thursday and Friday. What's another Saturday or Sunday? Like those are the lies we tell ourselves, right? So I want all of us to walk into Thanksgiving, whether it's at your house or at a church or at somebody else's house, with a real clear understanding that we have the ability to make excuses for ourselves in the heat of the moment. Okay.
right.
We also really truly can do damage. It's not a manufactured thought. It's truly, we could really spiral out of control here. So let's be very honest with ourselves that this is important. This is very important to line up the mindset. And the fact that you guys are here means you get that. That's why you're on this webinar, right?
Right.
So my thought is you'll be successful. So a couple of things, let's talk about, Cheryl and Mariah, some swaps. Like if you're trying to just set yourself up for success, what are some things that you can do? Let me ask you this real quick. Anita, I'm going to ask you to go first. Then I'm going to ask Rolanda, and then I'd like to ask Danielle, where is Thanksgiving happening for you guys this year? Is it at your house? Is it somewhere else?
Well, we are actually celebrating. I'm hosting it at a neighboring town on Saturday, so I don't have any Thursday or Friday plans, so.
Okay.
So
But are
I'm
you
not-
responsible for all the food, or are you
No,
bringing the
I'm
dish?
not- Well, I'm responsible for having the meat. And then everybody else brings in all the sides and stuff.
Okay. All right. Rolanda, what about you?
I'm having dinner at my sister-in-law's house, and she does all the cooking.
Okay. And is that a good thing or a bad thing for you?
It's a bad thing, because she can really cook, and everything is, and she has, and we have too much food,
Mhm.
as African Americans, we overdo it, and we do. And she's having the menu is ridiculous. She's having like fried chicken, barbecue chicken, fried fish, ham, turkey. I mean,
So we're going to pray for you, Rolanda.
yeah.
And where
So
do you live
only-
again?
I am making deviled eggs. I do make deviled eggs for her. So only thing I'm making is deviled eggs and I'm making green beans this year. So I can eat green beans and deviled eggs. I know that they'll be fine.
There you
Other
go.
than that,
I'm going to ask
There's
Mariah to
just-
circle back to this, but I want to hear Danielle what her situation is as well.
Well, my husband, we're having it here at my house. All my children come here and my grandkids come here, and my husband is on a journey with me, a life journey with me with the weight loss and maintaining. But he just said before I joined this call that he was going to go all out this Thanksgiving because he loves to cook. But I'm like, no, I want the cauliflower mash, not the real mashed potatoes with the cream and the butter. So
Good.
he's listening as we're on here too. His name's Rob, so he's listening too. And I'm not sure how I found you, Claire, but I was like really intrigued, and I've had it on my calendar for some time now. So I'm glad to be here.
Well,
Good.
we're glad to have you. And tell me what your husband's name is again.
It's Rob. Yes.
Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Go all out, but be good. Be good
Be
to your
good.
lady.
The thought was to make it good and then eat in moderation. We were going to try that game and see
There
how
you
it went.
go.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. Okay. So Mariah shared this little trick that she gives with clients that I love when they're dealing with someone who's an excellent cook, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, we know that ourselves and others can sometimes spell love FOOD, right? I mean, that's just, it's how we give our love, especially in the holiday season. And that can be really a challenge when they're an excellent cook. And I think sometimes it's a little, this is only one option, right? We don't have to talk about our weight loss with someone else, but we had this conversation earlier that sometimes having a conversation with that family member saying, if you know that they're going to pressure, like, well, you didn't have a bite of this. Well, you need to have a taste of that, right? Instead, before the holidays, saying, I want to tell you something, I've been kind of focusing on my health, on improving it, and I've lost some weight in the process, and I'm really excited. I'm going to tell you, I'm a little nervous going into this holiday season because you are just such a good cook that I don't know if I can have just a little bite of this and a little bite of that and be able to have that willpower to stop. So if you see that I don't have some of your food items, believe me, I wish I was. I just know I won't be able to stop it a little bit. So, you can kind of see how that conversation would be received. That obviously they're not going to want to, you're on a good track. They know you have goals and you're giving them a nice compliment at how good they are as a chef. So,
It's
it's
called
received.
butter them up.
Butter them up. Exactly. Butter them up, not butter up the rolls. Okay. There it is.
There it is.
So one tip is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Danielle.
Oh, no, I said, there it is. It's seafood, right? I taught my granddaughter early on seafood, see it?
Yep.
You can't have it all. You're only, two going for the snack cabinet. No, you can see it, but you can't have it. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, for people who use food as a way of showing love and affection.
That'd be my husband, correct. And it sounds like the other woman that's on her family and the fried chicken, we're going to
Yep.
her house, right?
yes.
So if you're surrounded by people who use food for love and affection, then what's important is to acknowledge the effort and to acknowledge the gift they're giving you. Whether or not you eat it isn't as relevant as acknowledging that you recognize this came from their heart.
Mhm.
And this was something that they did out of generosity and
Mhm.
out of fellowship, right? So you want to sort of address that emotional piece. And I agree with Mariah, if you've really got someone whose feelings might be hurt or they're going to socially pressure you. I think having this conversation up front, just, oh, it's just so good, I just don't know, would be really helpful. And the one thing that I want to add to that is I am in a situation where I have people in my life who are either unhealthy, and so they don't really want to hear about my diet because that makes them feel bad, right? And they will go out of their way to sabotage me. Or I have people who are sort of anti-diet, and they just don't understand that I really do have a sugar sensitivity. I really do. It's not, it's the easiest way for me to manage is this is what my body science can handle, but I don't need to get into these discussions with them. And I find that these social opportunities become opportunities for them to like pick holes in why I'm doing what I'm doing. So if you have those people in your life, I don't think you have to tell them that you're on a diet, you're trying to lose weight. You could just say, hey, I've noticed that, when I eat less carbs, I wake up more refreshed, or my joints don't hurt, or, I'm having better digestion. And so I'm really trying to like eat a little bit differently this year because I'm feeling so much better. Don't even make it about weight or a diet or anything. Okay. Because people aren't going to try to sabotage you if the way you're eating is about reducing joint pain. But for some reason, they will try to sabotage you if you're trying to lose some pounds. So does anybody want to comment on that?
I find that what I got from that real quick is, it's kind of like I slipped a little bit this weekend. Oops, it was my granddaughter's second birthday. Went to Chuck E. Cheese and there was pizza. Boy, that pizza, it might have not been the best 10 years ago or 15, but it was sure good because I didn't have that sugar in me for so long. And all of a sudden, it's like an alcoholic or someone with an addiction. They take one drink and you have to have another and you have to have another. Well, those little slices added up to a whole pizza. No, I'm just kidding. But it's true what you said. My addiction is to the carbs. And once I put it back in my body, it seemed like these past couple days, I can't stop seeing that little honey bun or that, I watched my granddaughter and I'm like, oh, that looks good. And just a little bite, but that little bite turned into a whole honey bun yesterday.
It's
Well,
that's the first, I think, reality check. I'm sorry, Mariah, is it's don't lie to yourself. And even better, be aware that you have the ability to lie to yourself. I am not a liar. I'm not a dishonest person, but I can talk myself into anything. Right? Okay, Rolanda, were you going to say something? Oh, she did.
No.
Okay,
No.
sorry. I saw your little box light up. So I would say if we know this is for real, I have a sensitivity, I know what my past history is, I'm doing better this year, then let's think about what can we make, what kinds of things can we do to help ourselves out? I'm going to ask Cheryl because we haven't heard from Cheryl. Cheryl, what are some few things that people can do the day of their social event, which in this case is Thanksgiving, to help them get through the day more easily?
Taking your herbs and vitamins. Make sure you take your herbs and vitamins to help you stay in control. To help me, I'm gonna preach to the choir. I had my Thanksgiving Sunday, and I was really, really proud of myself because I had a spinach salad, and there was dumplings and dressing and just gobs of sugar. And I'm a sugar addict, so I feel your pain. But I'm so glad that I didn't do the sugar so that I didn't have joint pain and my feet didn't hurt me. So I called it a success, and I did that for my clients out there. So wear your tight clothes. Don't get your spandex out. Leave the spandex in the drawer. Wear something with a button and a zipper. It's very, very, very important because you can only pack so much into those tight pants. Wear the skinny jeans, girls and guys. So drink your water. Make sure that you have a full belly of protein drinks on their way over to the place that you're going for Thanksgiving lunch or dinner. That will help you stay in control. I believe in the protein drinks.
Yeah.
And I'll add to that. There's such a common misconception of I'm going to hold my calories over. So I'm going to skip my breakfast. I'm going to skip my lunch. And, that late meal, that's going to be when I consume everything. And I
Mhm.
wish it were that easy. You know, I wish that we could just choose when we feed our body, but our body's metabolism only has an ability to break down so many calories. And in fact, what ignites our metabolism to even start functioning is when we fuel it. So if you just kind of let your metabolism being idle the entire day because we haven't fueled it, and then the first time we do, we overindulge, you're going to have a lot of fat storage from that meal because it won't be able to break everything down. We want our metabolism functioning in like overdrive. So we want to make sure if you skip your carb because you're like, I'm not going to worry about eating my fruit with lunch because I want to make sure I can have my extra little serving of carbohydrates for dinner. I understand. Protein is a non-negotiable. Make sure you eat protein with breakfast and lunch. Just like Cheryl said, make sure you do your protein drinks. You know, I think it's a common thing. You know, I've been with Metabolic for 12 years now, and I've heard it time and time again. Well, I didn't want to waste my drinks. You know, I didn't want to waste them because I wasn't on plan. And that honestly could not be further from the truth. When you have a protein drink that's extremely low in fat, in fact, ours are 0, and extremely low in carbohydrates, which are 2 grams or less of carbohydrates, your body needs fat in order to break down those protein, the protein in those drinks. So what's exciting is every time you drink one of the RH&S, your body goes into fat burning mode because it has to use our stored fat in order to break down those protein drinks. That's like the number one thing we should be doing if we're off plan. If anything, that's going to help limit the gain and or even cause weight loss, you know, over the holiday weekend, because you kind of have that elevated fat burning with your metabolism.
And also mix it too, you know, during the, because it can get a little monotonous with visiting. I would go ahead and just.
I lost you there, Cheryl. Will you say that again?
Day with, you know, and that way, mixing 2 drinks at the time or 3 drinks at the time.
Mhm.
Am I breaking up again?
You're
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
You're good now.
Let me speak to that because that's real quick, Cheryl. That's my
Yeah.
favorite trick. If I know, not even just for Thanksgiving, baby shower, just social event with my friends, whatever, I will mix 4 protein drinks in 1 thing of water. So like try to get a container that can hold like, you know, 20 plus ounces of water. You know, you can make them with 8 ounces, but the truth be told, you can make them with less water or more water, however strong you want the flavor to be. I really like having 4 together, and I will just drink on that. And I'm telling you, you will be so full. And when you're full like that, it's just very difficult to overeat, even when stuff is put right in front of you. And if you're full, wearing pants that are form-fitting, where you can like feel your waistline expanding, it's really going to be easy for you to physically be in touch with your body. What we don't want to do is get numb to our physicality, right? And that's what happens when we wear the big loosey flowy dresses or the stretch pants, is that it allows us to sort of mentally disconnect, and we just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, right? So making sure you're physically full, wearing those form-fitting clothing will put you in a great, great spot. And I real quick want to pop onto what Mariah said about protein. Eat your protein first, not just the protein drinks, but when you guys sit at this table, don't start off by loading up with yeast rolls and mashed potatoes. Start off eating whatever the protein is. If you have multiple choices of protein, which it sounds like at least Rolanda is going to have, you know, what's the one that's grilled? What's the one that's baked? What's the one that's roasted, right? Let your body really savor the protein and enjoy it and eat as much as you can as it, because your body does not convert protein to stored fat. So if you can fill up on that, and then the second thing I want you to eat is your leafy greens, right? Now, of course, salad dressings, I think somebody mentioned hidden calories. Salad dressings can have some hidden calories, right? So be mindful of that. But if you can then use those leafy greens, you're once again putting yourself in a position to where you're just going to be full. So then when it comes to a mashed potato or a dessert, it's just less likely that you're going to overdo it because you have filled up the volume in your stomach. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Thanks.
The other trick that I want you guys to keep in mind is the science here of blood sugar. When your blood sugar is stable, you have consistent energy for 4 or 5 hours. So when you're balancing your proteins and your carbs and your fats, like Mariah was talking about, what you're doing is fueling your body, and you're fueling your metabolism, and your blood sugar should stay fairly stable. And then after a few hours, 4 or 5 hours, it'll typically start to drop because it's time to eat again, right? What happens when we don't balance our meals and maybe we load up on carbs, and one of the members of the group, who I won't out unless she decides to out herself, had shared earlier that she'll likes to bring the bread and she'll eat the bread, and that's where she starts. The challenge with that is when you get straight up carbohydrates and you're not balancing out with the rest of your nutrients, your blood sugar spikes. Whoo! Right? So you kind of get that sugar rush, right? It feels good in that first moment. And in fact, research shows that it lights up all the dopamine areas of your brain. So you really are chemically playing with your body science. You have all those rolls or all those potatoes or all that dessert, your blood sugar spikes, and guess what your body does? Your body releases insulin because it's like, whoa, way too much sugar in this bloodstream, way too much sugar. We got to get that thing to come down. So your body releases insulin, and the insulin does not take your blood sugar to a normal level. The insulin crashes you to the bottom. Anybody ever overeat and then you're tired?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
That's your blood sugar crashing, right? And then what happens is, in order to get your blood sugar back up, what do? You go back and you eat more.
Right.
And you can have a day where this is what you're doing to your blood sugar. Every time that blood sugar crashes, you are going to crave sugar because that's how your body is programmed. Does that make sense to everybody?
It does.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you can use these protein drinks and the protein at your meal to really keep this blood sugar level, and you never have that drop, that right in and of itself is going to be a huge level of success, right? Because that'll help you not crave sugar. What questions do y'all have, or what feedback, observations before we move on?
A question about the protein. So when you're saying the protein, you can put like 4 in a cup, but for a woman, like, how much protein should we be getting a day? I understand protein, actually, what you said too is another thing. I'm like, oh, I'm going to put that in my bank here, is eat, because I need the protein to start my day. And you know what? I've always been taught, you know what? I'm going to save up all my meals and, have that great big meal. How many times have we done that for a birthday buffet or something? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm so guilty. I didn't realize. But so my protein for a woman, how much should we be getting a day?
So every person's different. I might let Mariah weigh in. On the program, women under 200 pounds can do 4 drinks a day in addition to the protein they consume at meals. Men who have more mass and women over 200 pounds or vegetarians can do up to 5 drinks a day. That's sort of our rule for the protein drinks. And that's in addition to the protein that you're eating. Mariah, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, that's exactly, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's, it does depend as far as, kind of weight bracket. And then obviously if we had anyone that was going to be super active, they could have a little bit more protein if they were exercising, when you kind of get into those avenues. But, the protein that's in our drinks is a really, really high quality protein. It's very easily digestible. So just like Claire said, it's not going to be able to convert into fat storage. And, what Claire was talking about with blood sugar stabilization, one of the best things you can do after you sit down at that big meal and you have your, you do have some of your potatoes, or you have that roll, or you have that pie, the best thing before bed would be do a final protein drink, because that's going to help level out your blood sugar levels, which will keep you from craving all of those delicious things in the morning when you wake up, and you won't make yourself a leftover Thanksgiving sandwich. Do I sound like I've done that before? I have no idea.
Not that I'm speaking from
Maybe.
Not
personal.
like I've ever done that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think a good offense is a good defense. You got to walk into this day mentally clear what your goal is. Like, my goal is to have moderation. My goal is not to deprive myself, right? My goal is also to not overdo it. Like, I am able to, sensibly eat, and I'm able to enjoy this holiday and enjoy the people that I'm with. and think about the things that I'm grateful for. I am capable of doing this. I am allowed to have my food and my choices and my fun without derailing everything. I really want that to be your mindset when you start your day, right? See if you have an ally. Do you have somebody at your gathering that can support you and help you? If so, enlist them. If not, don't make a big thing about your diet. If anyone notices, that's fine. Tell them whatever you need to tell them to just sort of protect yourself from what they're doing. And then I think when you do sit down to eat, like little things like really being mindful when you're having that bite. Say something to yourself like, I am really looking forward to these mashed potatoes. I am really looking forward to this pecan pie. I really think about Granny whenever I eat pecan pie. And when I take this bite, I am going to just really remember her and her loveliness and all my good feelings, and be mindful as you're chewing and think your thoughts and savor the flavor. They say that it takes 2 bites to taste something, and that's it. If you're just wanting a taste, you need 2 bites. And everything after the second bite, your taste buds actually aren't picking up flavor the way they pick up the first 2 bites. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
It
So-
doesn't always stop me from those multiple other bites, but it is very interesting. I will give you that.
Yep. It is. I mean, I think that science of understanding that if I'm really just wanting a taste, anything after 2 bites is no longer a taste. I'm just eating.
Yeah.
Right? And you would always be better to have 2 bites and then come back 4 hours later and have 2 more bites, right? Then load up. What time is everybody's event? Is it in the evening? Is it lunch? When is this happening for y'all?
Lunchtime.
Lunchtime. Okay.
Lunchtime.
That's at 3.
So one
Okay.
of those midday.
So we need to think about that, because I'm going to say delayed gratification is going to be your friend here. If there's just something that you're really like, just try to postpone it as long as you can. Because if I start going at 2, my day is done. It's on and I am going, right? If I can delay that dessert or whatever that thing is until 7
Towards
p.m.,
the
8
end.
p.m., I have a much better chance of being able to be like, okay, it's time to get ready for bed. Let me in the day, right? You don't want to set up a binge cycle. And not that it's binge like in the worst case scenario, but just eating more than you need just to eat is a form of a binge, right? Erin, would you be willing to share with us any of your thoughts, because you have some specific ways that you like to eat or in your history? And I'm sorry if I'm putting you on the spot. We just haven't heard
No.
from you yet.
That's fine. No, I'm the person who loves bread. I literally can't resist bread. And I'm not a big, I'm a pretty picky eater, which is annoying all in itself, but I don't really like meat. And so protein drinks are great for me because it's the only way I can like get protein in general. It's a taste thing, so I just don't like it. And I look forward to the sides, which is the worst part. I want the sweet potatoes, I want potatoes, I want the casserole, So this is actually my first year hosting Thanksgiving, which gives me a nice leg up because I can make foods that I like. And without insulting anybody, right? And going to their house and not eating their food. But yeah, it is a struggle for me. I don't know really how I'm going to not eat the bread or overeat it, more importantly, right? It's like, I think I'll bounce back if I eat just one, right? But I don't know how to just eat one, especially when I'm not eating the protein, to fill me up. So I think that's kind of my struggle personally.
I would be really interested to hear from you, and you guys will see Erin sometimes on the Facebook group. Erin does a lot of our design work. If you get on our email list, she puts those emails together. She just does a lot of work for the web store, and she's also, just like the rest of us that work here on the path, on the journey. I would be really interested in hearing from you. Maybe you could share with us, Erin, once Thanksgiving is over, how you did with the bread this year. And did loading up on the protein drinks make a difference for you, right?
Absolutely.
I would like to share, just going back to Danielle's, how much protein do we have? This is double chocolate pudding, which you guys, this sets up instantly if you've never made it before. You can make it with less water, and it actually is like a fudge ball. You can like roll it into little balls, which is fun, or you can freeze it and it sort of feels like ice cream. There's lots of fun things you can do with this. But when I was doing program, I can remember that I had a night. So my consultant told me I was supposed to have one a day. Okay, well, I ate the box in like 30 minutes. And I felt so guilty. I had the same amount of like shame and blame as if I had eaten a pint of Ben and Jerry's. It was like I broke the rule or I didn't do well. And then my consultant said something to me that was sort of life-changing, and I want to say it to y'all. She said, eating 7 puddings is still better than eating the pint of Ben and Jerry's. Like, right? And if that's what you needed in that moment to get through that moment, then that's what you needed.
Right.
And so I want to share that with you guys for Thanksgiving. Would you want to have 7 double chocolate puddings every single day? Probably not.
Yeah.
If you got a moment and you need something, do make the better choice. You know what I mean? Make the better choice for yourself, not just for that day, but we already started the call with like what the weekend's about to look like or what that scale is going to look like on Monday, right?
Yeah, one thing I'll say is, as we talk about that it's a whole weekend, a great thing to do the next day. I don't know if you guys have ever enjoyed the delicacy of hot lemon water, but it is one of the oldest natural diuretic tricks in the book. And obviously, especially if you're not preparing everything yourself, or even if you are, so you know how much salt went in it. Sodium can definitely be one of the silent killers of the holiday because it can add to a lot of inflammation. And when our body has inflammation, and it's bloated, everything we're eating at that time sometimes doesn't get processed as effectively as it should, which can add to more fat storage. So, that's how bloating can add to weight gain. Hot lemon water, if you were to do 8 ounces of hot water, like you were going to have a cup of tea and have it, not piping hot where it'll burn you, but, nice and hot. And you cut a fresh lemon in half and squeeze as much of that half a lemon as you can and drink it while it's nice and warm. It will make you use the restroom. It will get rid of any fluid retention, any bloating. So it's a great thing to do, the next day, on Friday when you wake up, just incorporate that. Don't do it before bed because you'll want to throw your virtual shoe at me as I kept you up all night in the restroom. So just do it in the morning. So it just adds to your normal bathroom trips.
So what questions do you guys have for us? We have about 20 minutes left of the allotted time. We've given a lot of tips and a lot of suggestions and even some body science, but there may still be some things that you're worried about that you're going to have to deal with or walk into. And, there's some collective wisdom here on this webinar, and we'd love to be able to offer you any kind of specific guidance.
So question here, this being my first year hosting, what do I do with the leftovers? How do I avoid, because I come from the family where it's like you eat everything on your plate. It's rude not to. Wasting food is a no-no. So how do you just try to give it away at the end of the night?
Everybody gets
Everybody what, Cheryl?
everybody gets a go box.
Everybody gets a to-go box. That's not.
A doggy bag.
Yep.
Yeah.
My grandmother actually at BJ's, it's like a wholesale, so like a Costco, Sam's Club, any of those, they sell the restaurant to go containers there, like a big stack of them. And she just has them in her laundry room. And any meal, not just Thanksgiving, family dinners on Sundays, she does not have a thing left in her fridge. She just makes it. She's like, have you made a plate? Oh, you have? Make another. Up until you have 5 boxes that you're leaving out of the house. But it definitely to go.
I want to second that. And Erin, this is a really great question. Thank you. If you're going somewhere else, then you're more in control of what you get to take home, right? And you don't have to take anything home. But if you're hosting and you're going to have all this food, I had a friend and I never really understood that it was part of her weight management, but she was always very in shape and she would always host things, and she would go to Costco or Sam's Club, Walmart, and she would buy those little 10 foil pans, those 8x8 squares with the lids. And that was part of the deal. Like before you left, you had to take one of your 10s and scoop yourself your leftovers for tomorrow. and fill that up. And, it always felt so generous of her. And you always the next day were like, this is great. But really, she was trying to get the food out of her house.
Yeah.
She didn't want it, or keep the protein for you, right? Keep the stuff that you're going to enjoy, and then get rid of the rest of it. So that's a great question. What else are you guys thinking about or having concerns about? Just wanting to make sure we hit your needs for moderation, portion control, hidden calories. Those were some of the things initially that we discussed.
There's also shelters that you could take, your leftovers to. Some of the shelters, get it out of your house, and it's a great. It's giving Thanksgiving, and take them.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Cheryl.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Rolanda, not to put you on the spot, but what are your thoughts? Are you feeling confident right now, or you still have some concerns?
I think I feel confident. I got some good tips, but wearing my tight pants, that's good to know. I was going to wear my leggings. So now I know to wear my jeans tights. I know that's a good, and I know now not to wait until the last meal to eat everything at dinner. So now I know to eat my protein when I get up, put 4 in a water bottle and drink it all day. When I get there, I'll be full. I won't overeat.
And you got to butter up that sister.
Well, my sister-in-law, she's really sweet, but she won't be upset if I don't eat everything.
Okay.
She'll be okay.
Well, and I remember Rolanda mentioned earlier, she's making green beans. That way she knows she has green beans that she can eat.
That's it. And deviled eggs. I'm making deviled
That's
eggs.
great.
And you know what else is a really good thing is pimento cheese.
Oh,
Pimento cheese, deviled eggs, the green beans, any kind of salad.
And Danielle, mashed cauliflower, that's my favorite way to go too, because I still get to dip my turkey in it.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know about you guys. When I was on program, my consultant had told me to have a little survival kit in my car or like in my gym bag, my bag. And my survival kit was, a bottle of water, a couple of protein drinks, a couple of protein bars. I actually had a box of Melba toast, and I know that sounds dumb. That's those little 40-calorie crackers, but that box of Melba toast saved me so many times because if I was somewhere where there was a dip, just being able to put it on a Melba toast instead of a chip or a full fat cracker, actually, like, that's a great swap, a great swap. And another idea is just making sure you bring your own drink. Like that's a hidden calorie. We don't need sweet tea. We don't need razzle dazzle rum punch. We don't need all of this kind of stuff. So, whether it's a diet soda or unsweet tea or whatever your version is of what you're doing, bring something that you can sip on, right? And, the trick with like the hot drinks, like whether it's hot tea or just the hot lemon water or coffee, what's kind of nice about those is they feel nice to hold in your hand. So it's kind of comforting to have that warm cup, but because they're hot, you're sipping on it. So you're actually getting the enjoyment of putting something in your mouth, right? You're giving yourself that feeling of consuming, but what you're having has no calories. And so you're sort of tricking your brain into thinking that you're getting stuff when you're not really. So those are some things that I just thought of. Danielle, did you have something that you were thinking about as your husband plots to torture you?
Oh, no, but just even like she said, drinking the shake or eat like a fiber drink or a protein drink before like an hour before dinner starts, maybe. I mean, that's my biggest thing, is to feel full and not like overindulge. But the bad thing about it is I have a doctor's appointment Friday morning at 8:40 for a new doctor. Why did I do that? Oh, and I have to, I mean, my weight's checked from all my doctors. So I'm like, I have to be good, right? Or right.
Right.
Now, one thing I know, I'm just really quickly, because I don't want to lose you and, figure out like, where do I find these people? I remember looking up your program. I see it in the background. Like I said, my husband and I are Noomers. And so we were interested in finding more protein in our diet and a different kind of shake that's a little bit healthier than what we're having. So I don't want to lose you. I think I found you on Facebook because of a pop-up ad, maybe. I'm not quite sure. And I'm so glad that my husband found the email I sent him a couple months ago. He's like, this is what you sent me. This is who they are. I'm like, oh, so I'm not sure if
It was
you'll be able
meant to be.
find me
Well-
on Facebook to find out the information and how to get the product. And real quick, is Cheryl from Tennessee? I hear a Southern voice.
Alabama.
Oh, that's worse. I have to go. Forget what I said. I do not want your product. Forget it. No,
Oh, God.
just no.
I was gonna say, I was about to say, but she beat me to it. 5,
Oh.
4, 3, 2, 1. She's gonna say roll tide.
No, my
But-
husband
Yeah.
will say what?
Let's go Vol.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm a Husker, and we have the best, worst defeated college history record in history. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, I don't want to lose you guys, and I feel very comfortable, and I think you have a lot where I'm interested in. And Rolanda's on there. It sounds like she has, yeah, I don't want to lose what you have.
Yeah,
So-
our website is weightlossmrc.com. So weight loss, and then we're Metabolic Research Center. So it's weightlossmrc.com. You can go right there and purchase your supplements. We have like 30 different flavors. We have a lot of protein bars. You'll see, I mean, there's a lot. But also when you do end up purchasing and you are checking out, you can add yourself to our email subscriber list. You'll receive the newsletters every time we do any type of these webinars.
All right. And I think I know how I found you. I think someone else on my Facebook was sharing how much weight she's lost. I have to go back and look. And she mentioned your program.
Oh,
Excellent.
that's awesome. I love
know,
to hear that.
The referrals are the greatest compliment. I
Mhm.
mean, as a team who works with people across the country, helping people get healthy. When you guys share online your successes and give us a shout out, it means so much to us. So thank you for that. And Erin is the one, I'm sure, that put together that ad and those emails, and all her work is beautiful. So see
Thank
Erin
you.
making a difference. I do want to speak to something real quick about products, not to leave off Anita and the other two that have joined us a little bit later into the webinar. But our protein drinks are different from what you can get at like a GNC or a Vitamin Shop, or even a lot of the stuff at the grocery store aisles. And I just want to address this really quickly. Our protein drinks are designed for people actively trying to lose weight. And a lot of protein drinks that are in the mass market are for people who are building muscle. And what that means is while they have high protein, they also have high carbs because they're expecting that you're like a gym rat, you're bodybuilding, right? And so the protein is not equivalent. This is protein powder or protein concentrate designed to be used for weight loss. That's why it has such low sugar and such low fat. And it's very, very hard to find this formulation just on the street in general stores. And a lot of customers don't understand that. And so they'll go out and get, muscle milk or whatever the brand is, thinking it's the same, and it's not. All right. So that's one thing I want to make sure everybody's really clear about. And then just a couple of other things. We as a team had talked about some of our favorite products. Fat and carb blocker. You guys, this is not going to give you a license to kill. So don't take 2 of these and then go pig out, because that's not going to work for you.
Mhm.
But this is some added support that will block extra fat and extra carbohydrates that you might consume when you're eating out or when you're eating somebody else's cooking. And it can give you just some peace of mind. Okay. So if you have fat and carb blocker, take it. If you don't, you may want to consider looking at that.
They are my best friend.
Mine too.
Oh,
Yes, I just want to be clear, don't use it as and give yourself
I
permission to
don't.
do that.
I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
Okay. Garcinia Plus, Mariah, this was one of the ones that you said you just loved, right? Can you talk about this?
I can. So Garcinia, I know a lot of you guys probably heard about it. I think, when it hit the market, I think every Kardashian must have been doing Garcinia Cambogia. Now listen, it's great, but it's really great along with the weight loss program, right? It's not a miracle pill, but it is a solid aid, because what Garcinia does is it blocks any cravings that are triggered by our serotonin levels, AKA our emotional triggers. I don't know who of you in the world can say that there's not something that triggers them. And maybe this time of year isn't that for everyone. But for me, it's not necessarily all bad emotions. Happy emotions trigger your serotonin will trigger cravings just the same as sad ones. And what the Garcinia does is it helps to manage and really curb those cravings. Not to mention, I will tell you, my whole family works in weight loss, or has at one point in their life. And my mother says it's how she deals with her in-laws, because things just roll over you
Hey,
a little
That's what
easier.
wine is for, right?
Well, yeah, that and the Garcinia, it's a combination, combination of the two.
Totally kidding. I
Make it
have
with the
great
wine.
in-laws.
No, but I mean, she says it just, everything just kind of rolls over her head. It just doesn't hit her as hard as it normally does. And it helps because it helps really manage when you're sitting down at that meal, the emotional appetite is taken away. And now you're only focusing on your real appetite, right? And that makes a big difference because I'm going to tell you the craving brain is sometimes stronger than our actual appetite. I mean, craving brain can make our tummy rumble even when we're not really hungry. So that's why I love Garcinia so much. I feel like it's such a pivotal thing in the holidays because so many of us have so much going on. And it just helps me manage things. I don't have in-laws I don't like, but if I did, that would just be an added bonus.
Thank you, Mariah. And then Cheryl had talked about internal cleanser. Cheryl, can you talk about what it is about this product that you like?
It's the beauty pill. It's the beauty because it detoxes your organs, and your skin is an organ. And I'd have a lot of people say, I can't believe you're 57 years old. And I am, but I'm sticking with 52.
See, I think you're going about this the wrong way. I think you should tell people you're like 65 so they really freak out, right?
I've thought about that, and then hair, take your internal cleanser. This is what it's going to do for you when you're my age. But internal cleanser also, it corrects constipation and diarrhea. It cleanses the liver, which is the organ that metabolizes fat, and we've got to make sure that liver stays cleansed. I take mine 2 at 10, 2 at 2, so in between meals. And then if you get into a situation with constipation, you can take them 4 at night. And it's just, it really does. It helps to detox your whole body. And this is like the first season that I've taken it, and I can really tell a difference.
Yeah, I think that ideally the schedule for internal cleanser, Dr. Andrew Weil, he's a Harvard educated doctor. He talks about doing triphala, which is the active ingredient of this, at every change of season, 4 times a year, just to kind of give yourself like a little reset. Okay. I do think that our body flushes out fat, and then the fat has to move through your liver. And if your liver is jacked up and clogged because you have a history of overeating, a history of, any type of toxin, whether that's nicotine or caffeine or alcohol and trans fats and all the stuff, it doesn't matter that you broke the fat down. It still has to get through your liver to get out of your body. Right. And so making sure that the internal organ support is there does help give you the faster weight loss because you're flushing stuff out faster, but it's also helping heal and have optimal processing of your organs. Anita, I wanted just to check in with you because you shared some of your goals in the beginning. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I didn't want to make you think that we forgot about you. So how are you feeling? Are you feeling good? Do you have questions or any scenarios that you might be walking into?
Well, I know there's going to be plenty of food there, but a lot of these are good pointers as to how to control my portions and things like that.
Good.
So, no, I think it's like if I don't take that first bite, then I'm fine. If I just don't even sample some foods, then I'm fine. If I just stay away from them. But like you said, if you have 1 or 2 bites and then keep eating, that's when I run into trouble. But I've been doing fairly good staying away from things that I know are not going to benefit me.
Well, I think, there's one tip that we talked about as a team that has not made it into this webinar, and I want to say it real quick before we close. Take some mouthwash if you're going somewhere, and or have your toothbrush handy. And I find like a real minty flavor works best. If you do end up having that bite or those 2 tastes or whatever it is that you go for, and you find yourself like, oh, I need to stop, go brush your teeth.
Okay.
Go swig some mouthwash. It'll put that taste in your mouth, and it's like when you have that fresh minty.
You don't really
taste
want the mac and cheese flavored minty.
Yeah.
Just doesn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, that's just too good of a hack to let you guys get off this webinar and not make sure we put out there. So, you've got some tricks and you've got some tools. Ultimately, what I think the web store team would like to say to you guys is that Thanksgiving is not about food. Thanksgiving is about so many other things, and food happens to be part of the way we celebrate the holiday.
Mhm.
But walk into your Thanksgiving celebration with a grateful heart, thinking about all the things that you are thankful for, including this body that you were given, that you are now feeling called to take care of in a way that's nurturing, right? And so we're walking into this day with the idea, I've been given this body and I really want it to perform at its, most optimal. I want to feel great. I deserve to feel great. I'm going to treat myself today by treating myself with the gift of health, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
Throw on those skinny pants, max out your drinks, get your mouthwash and your toothpaste, whatever, and have a good time. And then when other people are sleeping on the couch because they're having a carb crash, pull out your makeup and draw some funny eyebrows on their face, or
Make sure to snap a photo for us too.
yeah. Okay, so we have a special coupon that we are going to be given only the attendees on this call. It is a $10 off coupon. The coupon I do not believe is active yet, so give me about 5 minutes after we get off this webinar, just to make sure that you get it. But the coupon is going to be webinar 1. So that's WEB as in boy, INAR, the number 1, because this is the first of 6 webinars. And we're doing these every Tuesday at noon with the web store team, so that we can provide support and guidance. We'd love to see you all next Tuesday. In addition, if you have people that need to be here, bring them. So you can use your webinar 1 coupon in about 5 minutes on anything you want, if there is something that you need. And we hope you have a fabulous, fabulous Thanksgiving. Thanks you guys so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
You.
Happy Thanksgiving.